Before jumping on the next part, where we will be building this our business card, so basically let's rewind what we have learned so far. So let's just get a glimpse of the slides that we have covered in our previous session. So we already know that what is the difference between imperative and declarative UI and why we are using Kotlin Jetpack Compose to be specific without running debug code or run your app multiple times. It will update automatically. So to make a composable UI, we have to use this @composable, and then we create our normal Kotlin class, and we provide some interface with some UI component. Like in set content, we provide our composable functions that we can later use in uh, some type of specific theme or view, etc. Let's say we have to create a Android view. So for that, web view basically. So for that, we use Android view, and then we create a web view. And here our function is a like load URL. So this is the type of a view that we are using in send content function. And we have different type of modifiers, which basically tells a element to have like multiple properties. So like in here, we can see that we have a shape which will contain a top start and bottom end of 16 dp padding. And then we have layouts. Why we are using this? We will for to build this. We will be using three layouts. One is column, row, and box is optional. So you could use this or you could just skip this for now. In column, we have like this vertical layout. In row, we have horizontal. In box, we can have one item in the other, or we can have a like one big parent which will contain many different layouts randomly allocated. So after this, we have discussed about our views like button, image, text. We have used column and row also, but we haven't used the scroll function. And I guess that's it we have covered. So basically for this session will revolve around you have to make an app. Let's say it is not an Android app. It is not a basic Kotlin app. This session is not about uh, only compose. It is also about your honing your development skills. So basically, if you let's say you have an idea that you want to automate the ATM process. Let's say I don't have to. Let's assume that I don't have to like go to ATM. Instead, money can be delivered to me at home. It's just an example. So for that idea to make happen, what you will do? This is your idea. It will have some business approach. Like let's say we have to deal with the bank we have to deal with the customer, and for them to interact with each other, we have to create a common application that both can use and that can provide end-to-end interface. So basically, we are using end-to-end interface. So we have to an application, a general application. It could be a web app or website or Android, or it could be even like apps in your smartwatch, etc. It could all be made possible. So let's assume that you are building a website and you have like a one issue that I have to put a particular view in that area and it should have this specific UI. Or let's say I have to count the number of transactions happen on that particular ATM and I have to display it to the user. And also you don't know about backend or front end. So how you will do that? You will basically type your question on the Stack Overflow that how how to count items in a list of transaction database. This will be your typical search that you will do in a Google. And first thing is you have a Stack Overflow. It has some question, it has some answer. So basically, this session is mainly that how you can save time while doing Stack Overflow. There are some tips, hidden tips that you can save your time. And let's say if you are just wandering around, like getting searching for a solution, it will take you 3 days or a week or etc. So to minimize that and don't have to waste your time, there are some specific keywords that you have to put in mind while searching. So for this, I have I don't know about anything front end or back end. I just like written this, and this is our first answer. So basically, what I do is I don't jump into the question and check it is similar or not, because in like mostly 75% cases, the question doesn't match, but the answer could. It may not, but may. So why wasting your time reading the question before you can just check the answer? If it is helping you with any way, then read the question and then read the further answers. Basically, what you do is you have a question, go for an accepted answer. This is not accepted answer because the person who asked this question doesn't approve this answer. But in most of the cases, you will find a accepted answer. Don't count the vote because mainly your questions will have like less views, very less views, less than 10. Take example of this. It has like 29K views. Only one person voted this question and 2% voted this answer. So basically, they are saying ki, this is the customer table. Like I'm going into backend part a bit. Why I'm going and how can I relate to Jetpack Compose? We will come to that later. So let's say we have a customer database, and in that we have like two parameters. We just have to count this number 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let's say if it is an array list, we have to just print the size of it. So how now question changes. If you read this answer, question changes to from this how to count items in a list of transaction database to this count row in a database. Which type of database? SQL or no SQL? Let's say SQL. count rows in database. They are like where is Stack Overflow? This is. So they will say that use this count function and it will return the all. It will return the count of the rows in that table. For example, let me open up a database. How a database look like? So if I click on, I am just opening my database. This is my database. Browse data. Yep. So this is you can just assume a database and Excel. So how I Excel look like? It's basically the same. We have rows, we have columns, and so we just have to print the count. We have to just print 106 in this database. So we are just using count. So basically, you just have to improvise your result. How you can improvise it? Let's let's go to our previous search. We just go here. What we have seen, we have just seen the first answer. We have just read this. It will say the count to count number of transaction by last 2 months. We don't need last 2 months. We just need in a day, and we have a we have a database which only represent daily transactions. So just we have to count, print count. So here also they are using this count function. This is a little bit of hint while you are just googling. If you know such a basic, like if you just know a little bit things, it would be easier for you to save time on Stack Overflow because the data is very vast and you don't have much time or you don't want to spend much time just figuring things out. You have to make an application, you have to make an MVP, and to that to happen, you just have to improvise your Google search skills. It is very mandatory for a developer to hone their uh, Google search because let's say you are working for a startup and they say that build a website or build an app which will print thousands of items with a pagination. So instead of like just googling things out, key example of pagination in Android or web. So it would be very it would be very time consuming if you search for a specific thing on the GitHub or etc. Instead, break your problem into multiple small segments. What you do in DSA, you just break bigger problem, basically in recursion or DP, dynamic programming. What you do is you break your bigger problem into very smaller problem that you can just solve. So if you just think why company asks for DSA, they don't want your DSA skills. No, they just want that you are mentally prepared to do work in their office. Because while you are doing data structure and algorithm, you are training your mind to break bigger things into smaller ones. So in case in future you are building a very big project which might seem impossible to you, but it could be possible. You just have to think it that way. So that's why 95% of the companies, like in our on campus also, they ask data structures. Like many can say that it is not required, but it is required for your mental preparedness. So let's come back to this and we will just jump ahead Stack Overflow for the next time. Now let's get back here. We have two things. We already know how to make text and images. We already built rows and column composable with this horizontal or vertical arrangement. We have also learned about modifier. Basically, we all know all the things. Now we have to just implement in the practical. So we have to build something like this. Okay. So they say that like UI is most important, and so basically, in this session, we don't focus on much more on UI because we have to like cover two things. First, build this application, this business card application. Does anyone have some doubt? Okay. So basically, we have to build this application. We are not focusing on UI, but we are just focusing on how to make an app which will look like something like this. Because first we have to make app, and second I have to teach you the soft skills that you just have to learn yourself over the period of year or 2 year. So some things if you learn in early, you could be a better developer. So we have to make this prototype. We have broken this prototype into two types. First, this is a red box. Red box, like you can think of it, it is a container. In web, we call it container. In Android, we call it a view group. So in a view group, we are having two things. First, an image which will represent a logo. Like here, we are using this Android logo. I've already imported all types of this UI component which are required for this project. We have this email for this purpose, email icon, share icon, phone icon. We have already imported this. I have already discussed in the last session how to like import or make your own XML. So we are not focusing on that right now. Like in any point of time you have some doubt, please you can just unmute yourself and ask it. So basically, we have to create an activity. So new activity, empty activity, main activity. Okay, finish. Or instead of that, I could create a compose activity, or I could just copy this thing, set content. And we are in for like if you are building an Ambo Kotlin normal Kotlin project, we are extending app compact activity, but in compose we just have to uh, extend this component activity. Now we have already defined a business card theme. Let me show you. It is nothing basically. If it is dark theme, then it will just check if it is dark, then it will return true. If it is not dark, it will return false. And if like in any point you switch from dark to light or light to dark, this will automatically get updated. This is the advantage of declarative UI. And we are also passing a content which is of composable function, which will return unit. Unit means a void. In Java, we have void, or in Kotlin, we have unit. So basically, like it is basically returning light or dark, and then we have set colors, typography, shapes, and content. Nothing new here. And we have created a surface. A surface, what is this? A surface is what? A surface is also a type of UI, which basically helps in creating a plain UI for that, and we can just put our child views in that. It can be also done with constant layout, linear layout, and etc. But we are using surface because we have to use a background property. Why we have to use a background property? Because we have to just make something like this. This is something like blue type. So basically, let's see what we have in background. We are setting it a fill max size. It will create it will just extend it to the phone width. Let me open the split. For split to work, we have to copy this also. Preview. We have already discussed why we need preview. And we are running build and refresh. Let me just run up my let me just turn on my charger. I will running emulator this time because it would be easy for you to see the screen. I have minimized this. Okay, so let's wait for the Gradle build. And while this is building, we have already another thing to note is we are using the same things that we have used above. Business card theme, then we are using surface, and then we are calling a business card. And now let's create our own function. My business card. I have to declare this my business card, and it will show error. So it's saying ki, it is not resolved. So we will create a my business card composable function. And now if we click on build and refresh, it would show now with a color of this material theme dot colors dot background, which is basically a color which will taken from the by default material theme class. Let's see how it will perform. We are just providing a specific color, and then we will apply this blue color in our this my business card function. So basically they have also helped us uh, in making this app. We are creating we would be first creating. Anyone have some doubt? We would be first creating a background of this. So we would be using something like uh, constraint layout, or let's say we would be using linear layout. I don't think linear would be visible because we are no, it should be fine, I guess. So now let's use Googling tips how to make view Jetpack Compose, we would be only using Stack Overflow for this time or any article. Linear layout. We have already this example in this slide, but I have also want to just teach you how to actually use Stack Overflow. So, like, this is a question. I don't want to read the question or answer. We are just seeing the Jetpack Compose part. So, let's just try this column. It is saying that we don't have to use linear layout. We can just simply use column. We are importing Compose UI. We have to import this text also. Text would be this, and then we will just build so that we can see how it will look. I guess it was showing some error earlier while we are running it. Duplicate last found. So basically where it is, I guess we are importing something incorrect. It is building. So it will look something like this, what we have copied from the net. So basically, let's check our optimize import. Do we have something in it? We are not using anything. Okay. It's clean. So let us run this time. Basically, here it is showing like this. We have a column, we have two child, text1 and text2, where text2 will be aligned for from the start of the device, and this will be from the end. It will be sticking from the right part of our screen. What is the error? It is still showing this. So, like in while building, you also will be just filled with buckets of these bugs that you will solve along the way, and mostly you will be spending your time fixing the bugs. So let's just quickly fix this. Are we are in, are we implementing two types of versions? Let me just open build Gradle file and check if we have changed anything. So right now, I guess Where it is problem, it is showing in view model, life cycle view model, life cycle view model. We don't have our life cycle view model, so would be searching for the correct word. 2.5.1 runtime. Let's try now. We might also first clean the project. So basically, while we are just fixing this, actually, the issue is that we are implementing this file, but it contains two things which are duplicate of one another. See the version lifecycle view model 2.5.1 and view model KTX 2.3.1. This is the view model KTX. It contains from here. Are we using elsewhere? No, I guess not. So to fix this, let's try clean project, then rebuild project. If the issue is still there, let's. It is saying one is of Kotlin and second one of view model. Okay, so let me just check the imports again. Are we using normal Java or Kotlin anywhere? Let me just delete this file and instead let's create another activity which will be of compose. Where is compose? Here it is, empty compose activity. Then we will copy mm, the preview part. Oh, it is already there. That's nice. So we have copied the theme. We are just replacing this. clean project. Let's try this method 2.4.0. What we have view model. Are we using view model? No, let's just import this. We are rebuilding the project. Now let's say it would be resolved because we are now using different version. If still not resolved, then we will proceed to the further issues. Uh, you just have to observe that I am not reading this text. I'm more focused on the code, not text, not comments, just a code. That that is like you can just save a little bit of time. So we already know here we would use a column function. We would import these. So basically, we have a column which will take the whole size, parent size, which will be a center horizontal aligned. Center horizontal means that it will be like in the if you have a very let's say you have a cylinder glass. So center horizontal means that it would be in the middle of the circle. And if anyone asked what is center vertically, it would be like middle of the height of the cylinder. And if someone says center, then it would be middle of the height of the cylinder plus at the center point of the circle. If you look from the above. So basically, I have run this, and where it is, we have a manifest file. Let's change our launcher from this to this. So if I rerun this app, I'm writing exported true because we are making this a launcher app activity. So basically, we are looking to build something like this, which will have a column, which will have an image. So for that, we can just take and from here, let's type my business card. Let us just optimize import, then So basically, we will have a normal text view, hello world. Now, let's we have column, we have center align it. Then we will have an image first. Image. Let me now it is fine. We have not using the right import, so let's try this one. So let's first check how it will render. It is rendering perfectly fine. Now what we have to do is minimize the size. So we for we will also be using a modifier. So how to use a modifier? Does anyone here know how to use a modifier? We have already covered this. Okay, so to use a modifier, what we will do is we will be using something like this. So comma, enter, modifier, so simple. And we have already turned this on. So if there is any changes, it will automatically be updated. So for instance, let's minimize this and focus on our UI. It will look like this. We have hello world now. So we don't have to write fill max size here. So add image dp, compose, and so basically we will just search for this image part. We are only using image, so we don't have to read this whole code. We are only already wait a second. So we are already using this whole code. We just want to copy this part so that we can scale our app. We don't have to like fill max size. So instead, what we will do is fill max height. So let's check how it will look. We have image, we have text. So basically in our layout we have full name, full name. We are making a business card app. So let's say full name would be It could be any name, but let's say it would be Rahul Kumar, and we have already specified a weight of 1. So it will show something like this. So basically what we are doing, we don't have to like fill this also. It is this column, this whole column is taking much space. We don't want this to take much space. So for instance, we could just use like in our normal XML we use wrap content. So how to use a wrap content in Jetpack Compose? So we can just use this. So we are currently looking for the wrap content keyword. So let's try. mm, We don't have a wrap content function in Jetpack Compose, so we have to specify it by using modifier. Something like we have done here. So we can just simply use this modifier wherever we are using. Modifier dot height this. So it will now shrink to the minimum height that could be possible. Same goes for this. So now basically what we are trying to build, we are trying to build something like this. So we are already built a column. We just have to supply specific part, and you can just see we are all also using a position label. Here it is a junior Android developer. We also have a junior Android developer here, I guess. Android developer extraordinary. Okay, so let's make another text view. We just copied this. Android intern. So now it would look something like clean. There is some issue that while we are using weight 1, it is not working as expected. So to fix that, what we can do, we can just go to our blog. You just read. We have identified the different types of logical section. Let's say this is a column. We will have 3 items, one, two, three. Image, text, text. Then we have another column, and in that column we have a row which will have image and then a text, image, then a text, image, then a text. So three rows. In each row we have two views. One is image and one is text. So basic hierarchy will be a column which will contain three items: logo, full name, title, or designation. Then another column which will contain three rows, and each row it will contain one for image, one for text. We have to draw boundaries now. Okay, so let's do that also. Let's copy this. Okay, so let's just find up the session. So this is already I have made this up. So basically we have column, and we have using this max width and max height parameter, which background dark gray. So you can just see dark gray here, and then let me just cut this. So we are also using a logo, and then we are using a text which will have color white, and then we are also using a text designation which will have this hex code green, and then we will finally having a column, another column which will have fixed max width, and then a padding of top and bottom respectively according to your needs. And we have aligned this center horizontally and center. In that we have three rows. In each row we are just copying everything. We are just changing the drawable that we are using. First is call icon, then is mail icon, then is share icon, and we are just changing the text. And finally, finally we are just enclosing it in our composable function. So in final, this would look like this. So we have learned how to use Stack Overflow, how to make your development easy, and how to just build your app. So you have finally built your business class app. So let's just conclude this session by just doing the last uh, part done. We already have completed this whole basic layout. So in final, we are just taking the quiz. It is basically what we have learned so far. What is Jetpack Compose? A modern toolkit to develop UI. Composable function are basic building blocks of Compose. Yes, true. Annotation, composable function banane ke liye. At the rate composable. We have three standards of elements: so column, row, box. Tool for importing, creating, managing resource in your app. Resource manager. Which class is automatically generated? That contains ID. Resource. Which thing is used to load drawable image? Painter resource. We are already using a painter resource. There it is using painter. And what function parameter is used to add accessibility text, content description, and box layout stacks UI on top of one another. We have already discussed. True. What element is aligned the child element to the beginning of parent? That is end. Sorry, beginning, that will be start. Submit answer, let's check. We have also earned a badge. You can just earn badge by doing this course, and you can just take showcase. So we got 9 out of 8. So let's see what is incorrect. I think resource, sorry, the R class would be the class that automatically generate all the resources. We use r.id. That's fine. So basically, we have this earned a badge, build a basic layout badge that you can just showcase to your fellow developers, or You can just showcase to your open source community also that you have done this course. That means that you know some basics of Android. So mm, for that conclude, let me open my slide and conclude the session. So basically, that's it for the session. I hope you like this compose camp session. We have covered like 3 or 4 sessions. That's it. Thank you. If you have any doubt, you can just ask me or we can end the meeting.